Hey guys, Max here for Rev3 Games, and I'm with Andrew, who was the producer on Lost Planet 3.
Great to be here.
Yeah, I've been excited about this game for quite some time, since you first showed off at E3 last year, and I feel like it's under a lot of people's radar, in spite of it looking really interesting. The first two Lost Planet games have kind of their own fan base, but this is this is a prequel, correct?
That is correct. It takes place before the events of Lost Planet 1.
And what's happening here?
Well, it's basically the story of Jim Payton, who's the main character, and he comes to the planet VDN3 in order to assist in the colonization. And he's left his wife and his newborn son back home in order to basically try to join in this gold rush, because the colonists are trying to find this thermal energy resource and process it and figure out how to utilize it as an energy source. And so he's there as part of the colonization efforts. And he starts out as kind of an everyman guy doing construction jobs and things like that, and then eventually he gets wrapped up in kind of these larger conspiracies, and that sort of propels the story forward and then ties it into Lost Planet 1.
Okay, that's really cool. What I was sort of surprised by is going into it, you know, at a glance it kind of looks like your typical sort of space game where you shoot aliens, but it's got this great kind of Wild West sort of frontier vibe to it, and you've actually got a lot of personality. What's going on with the writing here?
Well, the writing is done by the guys at Spark, along with an external writer, and I mean, the point for us was basically just to make Jim feel like a real guy, not like your usual burly space marine type man of a few words. I mean, he's an approachable family man. He's not a soldier by trade. I mean, he knows his way around a gun, obviously, but and that extends through the other characters as well. You've got Gale, who's his mechanic, who's sort of the comic relief type, young kid. You've got LaRoche, who's the rival utility rig pilot. He's like the guy you love to hate, and we just try to create this cast of characters that feels realistic, feels multinational, the kind of people that would be part of the scientific exploration of a new planet.
Yeah, it's kind of like Ice Road Truckers meets Deadliest Catch with a little bit of the John Carpenter's The Thing.
Exactly.
I was really interested in kind of exploring the base. It's got this very very bassy kind of vibe to it. It doesn't feel like, oh, it's a space station. There there bottle of liquor's lying around. And there's like a quartermaster.
Yep.
Is there a lot of customization there? Is there kind of like upgradable stuff that you can do?
Yeah, as you're out and you're defeating Anchorage and you're completing missions, you'll get thermal energy as rewards and payment. And then you can basically use that to upgrade your weapons, buy new weapons, get weapon upgrades, and also upgrade the utility rig vehicle that Jim pilots.
Very cool. How much of the game is linear, would you say? Because it seems like you've got this kind of this mission structure and it's this kind of odd job approach. But is it kind of just follow one path, or can you kind of go out and do different side quests? Or
well, there's two main threads. There's basically there's the main storyline, which is comprised of sort of the narrative missions that drive the story forward. Those are the ones basically that you have to do, and they kind of make time pass, if you will. And there's also the side missions and the optional objectives that you can track in your mission log, and those will open up new opportunities for power-ups and additional items and things like that. The map itself is very much sort of a expandable map where you've got these hub areas that then branch off into other areas, cave systems and plains and things like that. And any area you go to, you can revisit. Literally, as the game goes on, you're exploring more of the planet, and it fits in with the whole Frontier theme. So, by the end of the game, you'll have basically the ability to travel across this entire large area.
Oh wow! Is there a fast travel system?
Yes.
Okay, that's good, because the rig is a little bit clunky getting around.
Yeah. Well, that's by design.
Yeah.
But basically, once you reach the midpoint or so, you'll have the ability to fast travel back to areas that you've been before.
Okay, so it's not like an open world setup, kind of just sort of territorial with dungeons kind of branching off, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a true open world game in the sense of like Skyrim or GTA, like go anywhere, do anything, anytime. It's much more, you start out, you're at the base, and literally you're going to areas where no humans have ever been. So you're kind of expanding your reach as you go along, and then you can revisit those areas. As you get new power-ups, those will allow you to unlock new areas as well. So you might go somewhere and see a ledge and say, hey, I bet there's something up there. I can't get there now, but later on when you get the grappling hook, you can get up there and find a collectible. Or
it's kind of a
Metroidvania
layer to it.
Sure.
All right, cool. I like the idea of the rig being this kind of, it's like a kind of a forklift, power loader, 18-wheeler kind of thing. Is it upgradable? Can you get projectiles, or is it all just kind of claw and drill melee action?
No projectiles for the utility rig in single player, but you will be able to get additional upgrades to it. One good example is there's the left arm of it is kind of this claw arm that you use to grab things, and you can get a winch attachment that allows you to shoot that out on a cable and grab stuff and reel it in.
Ooh, that's always fun.
And that's just one example, and you'll get others as the game progresses.
Very cool. And as for Jim, how large is the weapon selection?
I honestly can't remember offhand, but there's quite a few weapons. You'll see them all when you go and play multiplayer.
Okay.
We have them all unlocked for the demo for today. But it goes, basically when he first arrives on the planet, he's got like a pistol, and you can buy a shotgun and assault rifle and kind of
like go buy a knife.
Go buy a knife. You're gonna need a knife, you know, and you do. And you start with a pistol which has unlimited ammo, and you'll always have that available for backup. And you can carry 2 additional weapons, a shotgun, an assault rifle, things like that. And then later on, you'll start seeing more of the experimental, like kind of laser gun, pulse rifle type of stuff,
cool, yeah.
grenade launchers. You know, there's like a nail gun and all sorts of stuff. So some of those you can buy in the shop. Some of those you have to find. And especially the more experimental stuff, you actually have to seek it out and find it.
That's good. Now you mentioned multiplayer, which I haven't gotten a chance to get my hands on. But tell us about what's going on with multiplayer.
Well, we're showing off multiplayer first time here today, and you know, multiplayer is very important for the Lost Planet franchise in general. And we've tried to really keep the elements that form the core of Lost Planet, the multiple human factions. You got your Nevik as kind of the bad guys, you know, the evil corporation. You've got your snow pirates who are kind of the good guys, and then you've got the Acrid enemies, and then you've got the battle suits. Unlike the utility rig in single player, in multiplayer we have the return of the battle suit from the first 2 games, which does have chain gun and rifle.
Okay, yeah, that's.
You know, that's something that's very important for that. For the multiplayer. So what we try to do is reintroduce those elements that people know from the series, but kind of wrap them in a game that feels and plays more like Lost Planet 3.
Okay.
So it has standard kind of shooter controls, dual stick controls, and it has sort of more of a fast pace to it. One of the things that we're doing brand new for Lost Planet 3 is the idea of having multiple kit loadouts that you can set up with both weapons, but also with abilities and deployables. So you have like deployable turrets and shields that you can put down, and abilities like fast reload or quick heal and things like that you can set up. And all of these are unlocked through what we call the progression sphere, which is kind of like this chessboard that has all these different pieces that you can unlock using credits that you earn from winning matches.
Okay, and is there a class system, or is it kind of just mix and match?
It's mix and match. You can kind of create your own class system by combining certain abilities together. For instance, if you wanted to be a medic, you could equip the fast heal ability that allows you to heal your teammates instantly instead of, it usually takes longer than that. And then you could set your deployable to use the Proto Harmonizer, which is this thing that you drop down and it creates this energy field that heals people. So by equipping those upgrades, you could kind of become the medic class on the fly. But then you can do multiple kit loadouts that you can switch when you respawn, so you can go back and forth from one section to another throughout the match.
All right, right on. What about multiplayer modes? Are there anything kind of crazy you're trying out there, or is it kind of deathmatch kind of stuff?
Well, some of them are going to be more familiar than others, but we have a total of 4 gameplay modes. 2 of them we're showing today. One of them is called the scenario mode, and as the name might suggest, it's basically on each map, there's 6 total maps, and on each map you've got a different scenario. And these are kind of objective-based gameplay modes, similar like a capture flag or King of the Hill, but they've been wrapped in kind of a narrative wrapper scenario, hence the name. A good example of this is there's a map where, so you have the Nevik team and you have the Snow Pirates team, and there's this giant Acrid in the middle of the map. And you have to kill it, and when you do, it drops a thermal energy sample. Then you have to grab that like a football and take it back to your base, and then you score a point. And then it respawns. So, through the characterization and through the announcer, instead of having just a generic announcer, the Nevik team has got like this very stern commanding officer guy, and the Snow Pirates team is more like this young woman who's like, "Come on, guys, we can do it,"
Nice.
And so we've tried to include, a little bit of, like you said, that characterization and the feeling of being in that world instead of just, "Hey, I have to go get the flag because I have to get the flag arbitrarily."
That's cool. Well, yeah, but overall, like Lost Planet 3, it's got a lot going on for it, and you guys should pay attention to this one. It's interesting. Andrew, thank you so much for chatting today.
Thank you.
You guys can stay tuned right here to Rev3 Games for more of our coverage. I will see you guys around.